Hi guys, bored with usernames after another long leave of absence, for which I apologise. Once again, work getting in the way of keeping the channel up to date. You know how that one goes. Unfortunately, my work takes me away for long periods of time from the channel. So at this stage I'd just like to say thank you to everyone who stayed with the channel, all of my subscribers who stayed and keep an eye on it, and who've shown an interest and posted comments, questions, that kind of thing. So thanks guys, very much appreciated. Keep posting, as a friend of mine says, keep believing. This video is in response to several requests I've had on making a tutorial on how to get the GTA3 mods working that I've displayed on my channel. They're available on the Board with Usernames website, so without further ado, let's do that. First, go to the Board with Usernames website. It's very simple, it's a plain text site. Simple. Serves the purpose of hosting the files I need it to host. So at the top of this site, www.boardwithusernames.co.uk, at the very top there are two links at the moment. They're the only download links I've got at the minute. For the mods, you need to click on a mod, obviously, save it to your hard drive. I'm using XP. I believe Vista and Windows 7 have a default location for anything you download called downloads. Very inventive, Microsoft. But you can save it where you want, as long as you can remember where you saved them to. I've made a little folder called GTA3 mods. I'm just going to pop them in there. There we are. And I'm using Firefox, so you can, if you're using Firefox and you have the downloads folder open, you can right click open containing folder. That will open the folder where you've downloaded your mods to. So let's just clear that. Right, that's stage 1 complete. The files are now on the computer. They're in the downloads folder. The files are zip files. Each zip file contains one or more item placement files. These are the files you need to put into the game to make the mods appear. Not as complicated as it sounds or looks, so please bear with me. So those are the files we've downloaded. So we've gone to the website, we've downloaded the zip files, they're now on the hard drive. Now we need to get them into the game. So first thing you need to do, apologies for any noises in the background, I have rather noisy neighbours, so any extraneous noises I apologise. Now open your GTA3 games folder. On my machine it's program files Rockstar Games GTA3 data. Inside of that data folder there is a folder called maps. Now you'll notice in here are various folders and IPL files, item placement files. This is where the game looks to load the scenes and item placement files for the game when you're playing. This is the folder we need to drag the mod files into. It's as simple as that. So stage 2, open your Rockstar Games GTA3 data maps folder. Go to our downloads folder where we downloaded the mods from. I'm just going to do the Coast Bridges for now, and or the Coast Bridges zip file, and we simply open that file. I'm using 7-zip, which it's freeware, GNU public license. You don't have to pay for it, and it handles zip files perfectly. Works on Windows Vista, Windows 7, Windows XP. It's very compatible and it's free. So we open the zip file we've downloaded. We simply highlight the IPL files or the mods that we want to put into the game, and we simply drag them straight across into the Rockstar Games GTA3 data maps folder. Now technically that is all you do to install the mods. However, the game still doesn't know that they're there. We have to alter one more file before they'll appear in the game. So if we go back a directory, there's a file in here called gta3.dat. So step 3, we right click, open with Notepad. Scary stuff, but we can ignore most of this because all we need to do is go to the bottom and we need to add the names of our mods onto that list. anything we add here will appear in the game, anything we don't add here will not appear in the game, even if the mods are in the maps folder. Unless we put them into the GTA3 folder, they will not appear in the game. So, as an example, we've dragged all of the mods into the maps folder, but we might only want Coast Bridge 1. So what we do is we put the path of this file into this folder. So as an example, I'll do this one live for you. We copy the line above, IPL data maps. Now what that's doing, it's telling the game to look into the data maps folder. Simply a path command, nothing more. Now we want to add in coastbridge.ipl, so we simply add to the end of that cstbrdge.ipl, making sure we spelt it correctly, which we have. We now file, save, close the folder. I'm just going to pop over to Fraps because Debut Video Capture is very good at capturing desktop and very poor at capturing any games that aren't DOS based. So we'll just pop over to Fraps and we'll see how that runs. Okay, this is a familiar scene. I'm sure anybody who's watched the original videos will have seen this 1,000 times. Just covering old ground here. So what we're doing, we're just heading around the corner and up to where the stone pier is, which is where I added the start of the original coast bridge. Mind the bump. And there it is. So by adding the coastbridge.ipl file into the maps folder and then adding the path into the dat folder, we've now added the mod into the game. As that is the only mod that we have added into the dat file, you'll notice that that is the only mod that appears in the game. There are no coast bridges, no ghost bridges, other than the one that we've just added. So, now let's see how we can add a second mod. So, as you can see, just the one bridge was added to the game, because that is all we added to the bottom of the GTA3 dat file, coastbridge.ipl. Now say I want to load the ghost bridge. So we've loaded all the mods into the maps folder from the zip file, but they're not in the game. Like I said, you have to add them to the dat file. So say I want the ghost bridge mod and obviously the fence mod. We simply add to the bottom of this the same path, IPL. You can copy paste it, I'm just doing it live. Maps, so we've got the path in, data maps, and then we want to add GHSTBRDGE2, GHSTBRDGE2, E2.ipl, don't forget to put the .ipl on the end, and the fence, which happens to be IPL data maps, not maps, GHST FENCE 2.ipl. Then we simply save the GTA3 dat file again, and we just pop back to Fraps again, and we see what's happened this time. Okay, I've cut out the usual journey from the hideout because I'm sure most of you know where it is now. Adding those lines in has not touched the original mod. As you can see, Coast Bridge 1 is still there. And you can just see in the right there popping in is the Ghost Bridge. So if I add in the lines at the two lines at the bottom of the GTA3 dat file, it's made the game recognise the fact that the ghost bridges are in the maps folder, and as it's loaded this section of the game, it's loaded the actual mods into the game together with the rest of the scenes. This high bridge, as most of you are probably aware from watching the original video on the ghost bridge, is to get over a large 3D model. that is blatant advertising for the website. It's not in the mod. I was just showing off. Gotta love that. There we are. There's the end of the bridge coming into the ghost town. The base is part of the mod. It's part of a airport ground that I've added underneath the original ghost town to make it solid. The fence is there and everything, as you can see in the original. So that's it. That works. Now back to the desktop. Okay, so as you can see, by adding the 2 lines at the bottom of the IPL file, it's actually added these 2 IPLs into the game. As I say, they can be in the maps folder, but they're not in the game until you tell the game they're there by adding them to this list. Now what if you want to take a mod out? That's not a problem. That is not a problem, because all you do, you either delete them from the list, or you can use what's called a rem or a remark. Now in this case it's a hash. So any mods you do not want to load into the game for whatever reason, hash, hash. They will now not appear in the game. So for instance, I might want to use Coast Bridge and Coast Bridge 2 Revision 2. Now Coast Bridge 2 Revision 2 is a bridge that goes from the army base over to the picnic area. It's not compatible to run together with Ghost Bridge because of the way I've actually built Ghost Bridge. The 2 would clash, they would appear together, it would look horrible. So you need to disable the Ghost Bridge by putting 2 hashes in or deleting the lines, whichever is easier for you. These 2 hashes are probably a better method because you can see what mods you've actually got in there and add them in by taking the hash away again. So we'll remove the 2 Ghost Bridge mods by putting hashes in front of them, and then we'll simply add IPL data maps cstbrdge2 revision 2.ipl cstbrdge2 rev2.ipl. So now what we've done is we've kept the original Coast Bridge in. We've hashed out or remmed out the 2 Ghost Bridge mods because we don't want them loaded, but we've added the Coast Bridge 2. So let's see what this has done. Okay, heading over Coast Bridge 1 towards the army base. You'll notice that on the right, Ghost Bridge has now disappeared, and Coast Bridge 2 Revision 2 has appeared. So simply by remming out those 2 lines with hash statements and then adding our other mod in has made this bridge appear instead of the Ghost Bridge. Using the hashes is a very good way of taking mods in and out of the game without physically deleting them from the .dat file. That way you can leave all the mods in the maps folder. You can leave all of the mods listed in the .dat folder, rem out the ones you don't want, unrem or take away the hash for the ones that you do want, and you can quickly pop mods in and out as and when you need them or want them or don't want them. It's a good way of managing the mods in the .dat file. So back to the desktop. That's about all that the game needs, really, in order for you to add mods or take mods away. You know, if you don't want any of the mods running, simply hash them out and then just just load in the mods that you want to run by unhashing them. And that's pretty much it, really. The only thing I will say, there are limits on how many objects and items you can add to the game before it starts to crash. Now this, I'll be honest with you guys, I am not a script expert. I don't know how to get rid of these limitations. They're hard-coded into the game. When Rockstar made the game, they made facilities for the game to load up to X number of objects or items maximum. When they released the game, they didn't go up to that limit. They've left overhead in the game, so you can actually add a couple more items or scenes in there without going over the limit. Once that object limit is reached, you will notice the game will crash when you load it. There are certain objects in there which they take up huge amounts of game space and huge amount of resources. They will crash the game when you load them. My mods I've kept simple. I've simply used bridges, small objects that don't overload the game too much. Certain mods will not run together. For instance, the Coast Bridge won't run with the Ghost Bridge. If you run the Ghost Bridge, you have to take out the new Coast Bridge 3 because it reaches the object limit and goes crash. I don't know how to get around those problems. I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not a script expert. It's possible to do because there are mods out there where people have added an entire town into the game. So really you need to check other channels on YouTube, ask questions of those people. I mean, if anybody can do a video response and explain how to get around those object limits and game crashes, please do. Please feel free, respond to this video, explain how it's done. I'd love to know myself, because there's so much I want to do with the game that I don't know how to do because I don't know how to script around the object limits. I think it's I'm guessing, but I think it's done by unloading more objects. As you load more of your own mods in, you kind of get the game to unload some of the ones that aren't needed or aren't seen, or maybe load less IPLs in for each scene. I don't know, I'm only guessing, but there are channels out there showing mods that have far more than my little simple bridge mods in there, and they have gotten around the object limits by clever scripting. So you know, if anyone knows how to do that, please respond. But as far as this little tutorial is concerned, my little simple mods, that is how to load it as into the game, or load them into the game. As a quick recap, go to the Board with Usernames website, download the mods into your downloads folder, open your Rockstar Games GTA3 data maps folder, open your zip, drag the mods into the GTA3 data maps folder, then open your GTA3.dat file, which is found in the data folder, add the path up here, data, maps, and the name of the mod, Coast Bridge 2, Revision 2, whatever, at the bottom of the GTA3.dat file, down here. If you want to take a mod out, you can safely leave it in the maps folder as long as you remove the entry in the GTA3.dat file. They will disappear from the game. You can either remove the entry like that, or you can put a hash in front of it which makes it invisible to the game, so it stays there as text but the hash makes it appear invisible. And then you can load and unload mods as you want. Just simply edit your GTA3.dat file, hash out the mods you don't want, add in the mods you do want, save your file. That's it. Hope this has been helpful to you. You know, please post comments, questions, anything I can explain better to you, anything you're not sure of, you know, please post to the channel. You know, I will respond as and when time allows, but I promise I will respond. Any questions you may have, yeah, please feel free, no problem. And as I say, you know, maybe someone can post a video response on how to get around the object limits, because I'd love to know myself. You know, I'm not an innocent when it comes to scripting. I just don't know enough about how the game works, so I don't know how to get around the object limit problem and the game crashing. But you know, somebody out there does. Please post. As far as the little tutorial is concerned, that's it. Hope it has been of some help to you. As I say, any questions, please post, and until the next video, I'm just going to say goodbye, and thank you once again for staying with the channel and supporting the channel. Catch you in the next one, guys.